you sometimes just feel stuck for crafting inspiration? Well, today we're turning an unassuming piece of cardboard into beautiful little tags for bookmarks, junk journaling, gifting, and more. Hey there, I'm Jane from Sustain My Craft Habit. I've recently started experimenting with junk journaling and shared my first junk journal video here. It's a fun learning process, and what I'm discovering is that it lets me use all these craft supplies that I have in my room in little 10 to 15 minute sessions of crafting just when I feel like making something but not sure what. And these little tags are perfect. Not only can you use them for your junk journal, but they're great as bookmarks to send in a greeting card to a friend, or a cute element to add to your mixed media crafts. I'm going to try to make 8 tags out of this piece of cardboard. Some of the corners were rounded from the original piece of cardboard, which inspired me to make different edges. So I did round some of them, but others I also made pointed. Perfection was not the goal here, so I was really just wanting to enjoy my crafting time and not get bogged down by measuring on all the minutiae. Obviously, if you want to take that time, you can, but I really just wanted to craft freely. Okay, so I just cut different tops and bottoms. Some of them are rounded, some I left square, some completely rectangular, and just different shapes for my tags. So I'm fortunate because this side is white, and we're going to decoupage some of them. I have these scrap papers. Okay, I'm going to use some Mod Podge. Just put it directly on there and then spread it in an even coat with my brush and let that dry, and then we'll do the iron-on method. The trick is just to make sure you get it edge to edge, a nice even coat. And what I like about the iron-on method too is this piece of cardboard has a nice thickness, but it is a little bit warped. So I'm hoping that with the heat of my iron, it'll help to flatten it out a bit as well. These are scraps of napkins that I've used for other decoupage projects. So they're already taken down to the single ply, and we're just going to lay that over, cover it with a bit of parchment paper. The parchment paper helps to keep the heat from the iron from sticking onto your napkin. Just heat that up and press that in there. And that's it. It did a really nice job of smoothing out my tag, which is what I was hoping for. And now we can trim it either with scissors, or I like to use my little sanding block. I find it faster and I get a much cleaner finish. Beautiful. Let's do a couple more. This is such a great craft to use up scraps that you have. So if you don't have paper napkins, you could use bits of scrapbook paper, gift wrap, even fabric, anything that has a nice print on it. If you have some coffee dyed paper, it's just a perfect way to use up all those little bits and pieces. Even though they're a craft paper color on the back, I decided to decoupage some on that side as well. Some of the pieces I did the whole surface, and others you'll see just partial. I've been on a mission to not buy any new craft supplies, but I did cave the other day when I went to Michael's and I got myself this Distress Oxide and these brushes. They're blending brushes. Look like this. There's 3 different sizes and a brush cleaner. And it's so soft. It's really a beautiful, beautiful brush. So you can just see the difference. Now, I wanted a darker Distress Oxide. I bought this one because it was the least expensive one and they didn't have a sale, but it gives this kind of yellowish color on the edges. So you can see the difference between one that I've done around the outside versus one that I haven't. And it just adds a very subtle extra touch to the outer edges. I went into my stamping collection and I actually found a bunch of the stamping ones. So I used this color around the outer edge of this particular one. So it's got a nice purplish tint to it versus this one that's more of a yellow tone. So I'm going to do a couple more with this eggplant color. Maybe these ones that have this print on them. And you basically just tap it on there and then the brush does the work. It's very cool. Maybe you can see better on the other side. And obviously the farther in you push. I'll show you this side. What I was really most excited with this brush though was being able to use these inks with stencils. So I'm going to show you that next. Now I have a lot of stencils in my craft collection. This one is from ages ago. It's an Decoupaged Americana one. So I'm going to try using the little hearts on here. And I'm not going to be able to see the whole heart design, but it's cool to kind of have it offset at an angle. And I'm going to use the Distress Oxide and see how this works. So basically we just kind of dab it on there. Beautiful. And now we've got this texture on there, this pattern, and you can see it's like dark and light. It's got a lot of variation in the shading to make it look really pretty and vintage. I love that. That's so cool. And we can even do this effect over top of the decoupaged ones. Now that we've decoupaged and inked all of the tags, I'm going to just punch some holes in the top center. I'll use that one as a bit of a template just so that they're all similar. So with the holes punched, we're going to just add some of this lace that I ordered from a second-hand seller, our friend Cheryl from Mama P's Crafted Creations. She creates these bundles of vintage laces and materials, and there were so many in there. So I'm just cutting it to about 8 inches and looping it through our hole. Now instead of tying it, which will create bulkiness here, I've decided to just glue the two sides together. I'm flipping this one over so that I have kind of ruffles or scallops on opposite sides, and then putting a little drop of hot glue right in there and pressing that together, just being careful not to burn the fingers, and then that holds it in place. And we have our little pull for the tag. I did some of these with some lace that I had cut down, and then this one has a little bit of a cream colored lace ribbon, and this one that I just showed you a little bit of a whiter lace ribbon. I had this idea to add some motivational quotes onto my tags, and I had this paper envelope that I wanted to try to see if I could print onto. So I cut it down, and at this point I got distracted, and you can see me here realizing that I messed up because I wanted it to be an 8.5 by 11 sheet that would fit into my printer, but I did the oopsie. So in any case, I did cut it to get 2 sheets, and I loaded them into the back of my Epson printer. And it actually worked so well. I'll have this printable available for you. Just check the description below. It'll be on Sustain My Craft Habit. But I found all these motivational quotes online and compiled them all onto this one printable that you can then use to cut out all sorts of different sentiments for your projects. You could use these to make cards with, for these tags, for your junk journals. If you put them on sticker paper, then you can make them into stickers as well. And I just use the same blending technique with some black ink. I was getting a little bit more adventurous with my inking and thought, wow, I can just use all the ones that I have. So I added this touch of black around the outer edge, and I can't believe what a difference it makes in terms of, I don't know, just the texture and the feel of the project. Once all the inking was done, it was time to add those little sentiments onto my tags. And I just used my Elmer's school glue stick for this process. I'm sure there's other glues you can use as well, or even Mod Podge. And then I just glued them on in different directions depending on basically the size of the little piece of paper. Some fit better vertically, some horizontally, some on an angle, and then some I even cut down to have different words zigzagging across. And I just think this is so sweet, like added just the perfect touch. And on their own now as little elements in my junk journal, they're perfect and very inspirational. But again, if you wanted to include these in a greeting card for somebody who needs a little motivation, or to have it as a bookmark to inspire you as you're reading your book, so many fun possibilities. The last step of my little cardboard upcycled project adventure was to add some buttons that I have a whole button collection, so it's very satisfying to try to match up the colors with each of the tags, and then I just glued them on with my hot glue gun. I'm so happy with how these turned out. It's funny how even though I've been crafting for decades, I'm always learning something new, and I hope this video inspired you to try new techniques. I learned how to do inking for the first time, thinking beyond copy paper when using my printer, and pushing myself outside of my comfort zone with this mixed media, having a bit of paper and fabric and buttons to create these beautiful 3D elements. Thank you for following me along my junk journaling discovery journey. This is the second junk journal that I made, and I'll have a video of it soon. But in the meantime, let me know, is this a craft that you've tried or would like to try? Or even just to make little tags such as these when you're looking for inspiration for crafting. Bye for now.